Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to or welcome back to Bookeemonsters. My name is PK. It is Tuesday, February 27th. And on Tuesdays, we look at the new releases that are being set into the wild of mystery and thrillers. Hope you are having a good day. Hope you're drinking good coffee, reading good books, and being safe. Winter came here. It's going to be about a high of 20. We've got about 3 inches of snow. But tomorrow's gonna be in the 40s, so it's gonna be interesting driving for the next couple days. At least it's not gonna stick around. Kim says, "Good morning, all." And Mary says, "Good morning, everyone, and happy Tuesday." And Mary asks Kim, "Were you successful in getting in touch with your doctor's office?" Sure hope so. Yeah. And yes, it is cold. It is cold. But for the next couple weeks, I think it's gonna yo-yo. Oh boy. Oh boy. Let's see. Announcements. Tonight there are sprints at 6:05 Mountain Time, 8:05 Eastern. They'll go for 2.5 hours. And tomorrow's morning show will be romance. Let's jump in. I did a little bit of prep work last night, which is good. CJ Box has a new one. I'm going to shut down this tab that I don't need anymore. 3-inch Teeth, 24th in series by CJ Box. A rogue grizzly bear has gone on a rampage, killing, among others, the potential fiance of Joe's daughter. Are you sure it was an accident? At the same time, Dallas Cates, who Joe helped lock up years ago, is released from prison with a special list tattooed on his skin. He wants revenge on the people who sent him away, 6 people he blames for the deaths of his entire family and the loss of his reputation and property. Using the grisly attacks as cover, Cates sets out to methodically check off his list. The problem is, both Nate Romanowski and Joe Pickett are on it. Well, makes you wonder, 24 books in, did the author just not like the fiance character? Said, let's kill him with a grizzly bear. What's that line from Shakespeare? Just randomly, suddenly, a bear. Helen says, "Good afternoon." Hello, Helen. Thank you for being here. Mary says, "I like CJ Box. Good mysteries usually." Exactly. Nice, solid. Kim, I talked to them yesterday. Want to send me to gyno? And I said no. I would say the same thing. Not having issues, and they wouldn't even be discussing it if they hadn't seen something on the CT scan. And we can discuss it again if something changes. I'm glad you are able to make an informed decision. That is good. Leave No Trace, a national parks thriller by A.J. Landau. This is the first in a potential series, it looks like. In a daring, brutal act of terrorism, an explosion rocks and topples the Statue of Liberty. Special Agent Michael Walker of the National Park Service is awakened by his boss with that news and sent to New York as the agent in charge. Not long after he lands, he learns 2 things. One, that Gina Delgado of the FBI has been placed in charge of the investigation as the lead of the Joint Terrorism Task Force, and 2, that threats of a second terrorism attack are already being called into the media. While barred from the meetings of the Joint Task for his lack of security clearance, Walker finds a young boy among the survivors with a critical piece of information, a video linking the attackers to the assault. As a radical domestic terrorist group led by a shadowy figure known only as Jeremiah threatens further attacks against America's cultural symbols, powerful forces within the government are misleading the investigation to further their own radical agenda. This would normally be something that I would check further, but I'm a little leery now with that second paragraph. Makes me think there might be activism rather than crime story. And he says, "Good for you. You stuck to your own decision. That is what you have these days. Be your own advocate." Exactly. My Name Was Eden by Eleanor Barker White. Psychological debut. One twin vanished, the other twin remained, until now. Dot, 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 dot. When her daughter Eden came home from the hospital, Lucy was profoundly relieved. Eden had survived a drowning incident and had no apparent brain damage, no serious injuries, not even a scratch on her. Lucy fervently welcomed having a second chance at being the good mother she should have been before her daughter's accident. Until Eden tells her that Eden isn't her name, until she starts calling herself Ellie, the name Lucy had reserved for Eden's unborn twin. "Don't worry," says the doctor. "Eden is completely fine," says her husband. "Of course I'm fine," Eden says, with that strange new smiles of her. "I didn't die. I'm here." But Lucy knows something's very wrong with Eden. She's not her maddening, complicated teenage girl anymore. This straight-backed, even-tempered, steady-eyed child in her house is someone else entirely. Eden, it seems, is the twin who disappeared. Okay, too creepy for me. Come on, give us some good old-fashioned murder. Trapped in Yosemite by, oh, must be National Park Week. Trapped in Yosemite by Dana Mentick. When a massive earthquake levels the region, secrets and unknown dangers are exposed. The ground in still icy Yosemite National Park isn't stable, and canine handler Von Sharp fears the worst, but his worries are pushed aside when he sees an SUV viciously forced off the road with his ex-fiancée at the wheel. Didn't I tell you it's ex-fiancée week? It's only when Stella Rivers steps out of the vehicle that the very ground under the feet cracks and breaks with the onslaught of a terrifying earthquake. When her meeting with the mysterious client is ambushed, Stella witnesses the man being gunned down by a sniper and becomes a target herself. With the threat of aftershocks triggering landslides and floods, the new mom has no choice but to run to save her baby girl, even if it means teaming up with the man who has no idea he fathered her child. Trapped in a dangerously unstable wilderness with a killer closing in, Vaughn and Stella are running out of time to get to safety, and every fissure reveals a new secret that will shake them to their foundation. Sounds like Hollywood said, it's a little tame. Let's add some more. I'm more concerned about why I'm losing weight and can hardly eat than about cataracts. I'm getting okay. We'll be concerned with you and help. You're not alone. Ghost Island by Max Seek. Fourth in the Ghosts of the Past series. On a secluded island, homicide detective Jessica Nemi must investigate a drowning that is tied to a frightening ghostly legend. Jessica is put on leave after a violent altercation between her and a belligerent man makes headlines. To escape the unwanted scrutiny, Jessica travels to a remote island in the Åland archipelago and rents a room at a small seaside inn. She's hoping to be left alone as she faces the possibility that she is losing what is left of her sanity. But three elderly visitors have arrived at the inn for their yearly sojourn. Jessica learns that they are the remaining Birds of Spring, former refugees who fled Finland as children during World War II and lived together for a few months in an orphanage on the island. The orphanage no longer exists, but the local legend about one of its inhabitants, a girl named Maja, still haunts the surviving orphans. Every evening, Maja would put on her blue coat and stand on the pier looking out at the dark water until one night she disappeared and was never seen again. When one of the birds of spring is found dead, drowned alongside the same pier, and Jessica learns about two other deaths from the past also connected to the orphanage, she has no choice but to try and put the pieces of this terrifying mystery together. Jessica can't be sure whether she's facing a killer or, just like the legend says, the ghost of Maja, the girl in the blue coat. Uncertain what is real and what is not, Jessica desperately searches for answers and she hopes will stop the murders and finally silence her own demons once and for all. Under the Storm by Christopher Carlson. And it must be from in translation because we also have a translator. Oh, out of Sweden. Cool. On a cold November night, a farmhouse burns to the ground. Inside, a young woman is found dead, not from the fire, but murdered. To the people in the rural community of Marbach, this becomes, and I apologize, I will probably say these names wrong. This becomes a reference point, a before and after. For 10-year-old Isaac Nyquist is it sets in motion something he cannot control, igniting his future in an unpredictable inferno. The police focus their attention on Edvard Christensen, the boyfriend of the murdered woman and Isaac's beloved uncle. After a quick investigation, Edvard is found guilty and sentenced to life in prison, and Marbach believes it can return to its innocence. Vidar Jorgensen, the rookie officer who first responded to the fire, prides himself on helping solve the murder. Little does he know that this will become the defining case of his career and that it will drive him to the brink of professional and personal disaster and link his fate to young Isaac's. If you're into the Nordic crime stuff, there is another contender. Sounds like you have a lot's going on, Kim. Sending healing vibes to you and hope you feel and are better soon. Good. Mary, I usually like Scandinavian mysteries, usually kind of dark, but almost always good. Absolutely. Ranch Dressing, a Samantha Kidd mystery. Killer Fashion Mysteries by Diane Valaire. 15th. When fashionista Samantha Kidd's father-in-law arranges a week on the dude ranch he's aiming to buy, Samantha preps for blue skies and clean living. But all too soon, she learns life on the ranch is anything but calm. When the owner is found dead inside one of the stables, all signs point to murder. As Samantha wrangles clue after clue, she smells something rotten, and it's not manure. In her quest for the truth, she encounters quirky cowhands, brazen barrel racers, and suspicious horseplay, not to mention a social paradigm straight from the 1800s. Can Samantha bring justice to the Wild West of eastern New Jersey, or will a renegade ranch dweller get away with murder? Having grown up and lived in Montana, this was not set in Montana, but you get the attitude there. You get kind of eye rolling about the attitude. The Phalanx Code, a Garrett Sinclair novel by A.J. Tata. Tata. That's wonderful. Book 3 in the Garrett Sinclair series. Thank you. Doctors are decreasing the dosage of one of my medications. We are hoping that will help. Better less medication as a test rather than let's keep piling on more, which they tend to do. Garrett Sinclair escapes from prison to rescue his team from the manipulations of two tech moguls and learns of a devastating family secret in the process. Influential tech magnate Mitch Drusen calls on Sinclair and the Dagger team to protect his Project Optimus, an ambitious endeavor that empowers citizens to protect their financial and personal data in the face of increasingly authoritarian federal governments. Project Optimus is a threat to Aurelius Blank's Phalanx Corporation. Blank's data collection and media application are enabling a global security threat, creating a techno-fascism that monitors the activity of everyone with a smartphone, tablet, computer, or any web-connected device. When Phalanx assassin squads overrun an Optimus server farm in California and attack an Optimus coder named Blair Campbell, who happens to be the president's daughter, Sinclair must deploy a group of warriors to save Blair and protect the remainder of the Optimus team so they can finish their important work. A project that includes deciphering the mysterious Phalanx code, suspected to be Phalanx's kill list of Optimus employees. With Phalanx squads hunting him and those he loves, Sinclair must determine who he can trust while a part of his past comes back to haunt him and threaten everything he holds dear. That is cutting edge. And I think I would want to find out more. I'm just praying it doesn't negate what's been done for my A1C. Yep, I get it. I don't know if I've mentioned it, but Steve is diabetic and has been since his early 20s. The Rumor Game by Thomas Mullen. A determined reporter and a reluctant FBI agent face off against fascist elements. Oh, fascist is the word of the day in this gripping historical thriller set in World War II era Boston. Reporter Anne Lemire writes The Rumor Clinic, a newspaper column that disproves the many harmful rumors floating around town, some of them spread by Axis spies and others just gossip mixed with fear and ignorance. Tired of chasing silly rumors about Rosie Riveter's safety on the job, she wants to write about something bigger. Special Agent Devin Mulvey, one of the few Catholics at the FBI, spends his weekdays preventing industrial sabotage and his Sundays spying on clerics with suspect loyalties, and he spends his evenings wooing the many lonely women whose husbands are off at war. What a winner! When Anne's story about Nazi propaganda intersects with Devin's investigation into the death of a factory worker, the two are led down a dangerous trail of espionage, organized crime, and domestic fascism, one that implicates their own tangled past and threatens to engulf the city in violence. What we buried. A Toronto homicide detective is attacked at his doorstep when his investigation into possible links between the Nazi occupation of Italy and the murder of his brother decades later gets too close to the truth. I'm not sure if I mentioned the author. This is Robert Rottenberg. It's been years since Daniel Kennicott's brother Michael was shot and killed the night before he was about to depart for Gubbio, Italy. The case, never solved, has haunted Daniel ever since. Long suspecting the killer was tied to Michael's planned trip, but overwhelmed with grief, Daniel has put off going there until now, the 10th anniversary of the murder. As he's about to leave, Daniel learns that his two mentors, detectives Ari Green and Nora Baring, have been more involved in the investigation of Michael's murder than he ever knew, and they're concerned about Daniel's safety. But why? Is Daniel risking his life and those of others by trying to uncover the truth? When Daniel arrives in the bucolic Italian hill town, he learns the past has not been put to rest. Residents are still haunted by the brutal Nazi occupation, the brave acts of the local freedom fighters, and the swift savagery of German retribution. And as Daniel delves into his family's deadly connection to Gubbio, Ari Green searches for a killer closer to home. This is inspired by a true story of the 40 martyrs of Gubbio, Italy during World War II. Interesting. Let's go here. This was one that I had not prepped through. Woo! Whee! Hmm. That was last week. That was a couple weeks ago. That was January. This person's website is not very date accurate. Last week or so. Hold on, guys. We are whooping through these. A couple weeks ago. All right. Well, that is all we have for today, and we're getting close to time. Oh, commercial. All right, I'm going to close a couple more tabs here. I'm going to keep that one. Here, we got a minute. Let's go here for a second. I want to see this first one. Chasing the Lions. This is that one by AJ Tata, the first Garrett Sinclair. Herzog rose through his nation's military to become a lethal soldier and brilliant tactical commander. Now a general, he leads Quds Force, an extremist terrorist organization targeting America and its Western allies. The United States has just uncovered a biochemical weapon developed by Perazad's group, a viral agent. It attacks a person's nervous system and renders them susceptible to mind control. Perazad plans to unleash the weapon in Washington, D.C. on an inauguration day during the swearing in of the country's first female president, turning civilians into weapons. Army Lieutenant General Garrett Sinclair and his Joint Special Operations Team are assigned to stop the terrorist strike. Sinclair pursues Perazad across the Middle East, Europe, and in the U.S., only to discover a deeper conspiracy, a revelation that his wife may not have died from cancer, but was murdered. Separated from his teammates and unsure of who he can trust, Sinclair is on a mission not only to save his country, but to avenge his family. Maybe, maybe. Might have to bookmark that one for Spy vs. Spy September. Down to 5.7 on Mounjaro. Is Mounjaro the one that helps with weight loss, or is that Ozempic? I know one of them is sought after for that added benefit. Might explain your weight loss, if so. On both of them. Wow, fewer mysteries than normal, it seems like. Yeah, might be in a little lull this week. That's why she's decreasing it to see if that helps me being so sick. Yeah. With all the bad stuff about Ozempic, it, started out beneficial, but there are side effects, I've heard. So I'm glad you are being monitored and you are monitoring. That is good. All righty. Well, that is it for today. Again, we do have sprints tonight at 6:05 Mountain Time, 8:05 Eastern. It probably will be closer to the 6:05 mark with the way the roads are today. So probably no early start tonight. Tomorrow we'll be looking at the romance. Hopefully there's a slew of them, unlike today. Oh wow. But we got to know what's out there. That's why we do this. So everybody be safe, be warm if you are in the northern part of the country. Be safe, be happy, read good books, drink good things. Good day, baseball tonight. Oh, and Dustin says, have a good day, everybody. Oh, thank you, Dustin. And Mary says, have a great day. Drive carefully, stay warm, and feel better soon, Kim. Yes, sending good vibes. And Helen says, bye. Thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate you. You have no idea. And as the banner says here, don't be a bookworm, be a bookie monster. Nom, nom, nom. Have a good day. Hopefully see you tonight. God bless.